Senator Bato.
Yes, Mr. President. I just would like to share this august body, the basis for my motion. According to Chief Justice Renato Puno in Francisco versus House of Representatives, a number of things can be done before the Senate is convened as an impeachment court. For example, the Senate, which has the primary jurisdiction over the case, can decide the question of whether the one-year ban has been violated or not. Likewise, the Senate can decide whether the complaint on its face has any legal basis.
Mr. President, if I may,
So as not to belabor the point, Chair would like to state the parliamentary status and make a ruling. Again, to reiterate, Senator Bato, after the end of his privileged speech, made a motion, but before the Chair could act on that motion, he asked for the recognition of Senator Bato, who wanted to second the motion of Senator Bato at the end of his speech. Before the Chair could act on that motion and recognize Senator Bato, Senator Ontiveros and Senator Villanueva signified their intention to speak. Senator Ontiveros made a motion. To suspend further consideration of the matter at hand so that we can proceed to take our oaths. And then Senator Marcos raised the point of order that there are too many pending motions on the floor and that we should dispose of them, as correctly pointed out by her. Senator Villanueva objected to the motion of Senator Bato. With the permission of Senator Villanueva, hindi ko po ituturing na objection yung inyong sinabi dahil ayon mismo sa inyo, hindi naman kayo tutol doon sa motion ni Senator Bato, kanya lamang. Gusto nyo at sa paniniwala nyo, pwede lamang ito magawa kapag tayo ay isang impeachment court na at hindi bilang isang Senado. Ayon sa authority na kinokot ni Senator Bato, may opinion, may concurring opinion. Si dating Chief Justice Puno na pwedeng itong gawin ng Senado. Concurring and dissenting opinion siya sa pagkakaalala ko sa Francisco. With the permission of the gentleman on the floor, the chair is of the considered view that and takes well the position of Senator Villanueva. We will act on the motion of Senator Bato, but as an impeachment court.
Yes.
We cannot act on the motion of Senator Bato unless we take our oaths as members of the impeachment court. Therefore, once the impeachment court is after we take our oaths and we convene the impeachment court, Senator Bato can reiterate his motion, Senator Go can then second his motion if at all, and we will proceed to dispose of such motion after we hear from everyone who wants to speak on the matter.
Mr. President, just to clarify your statement, Mr.
Senator
President.
Villanueva, before I make a ruling.
Yes, Mr. President, you were saying, Mr. President, because the way I look at it, you're saying, Mr. President, that in order for us to dispense with the motion of Senator Bato, we would have to convene?
We would have to convene the impeachment court, as you said earlier.
Yes, Mr. President, I thank you for that. But in order for us to convene again, Mr. President, and just for the information of our law students and those who wanted to learn from these proceedings, Mr. President, this representation made a statement yesterday that we cannot proceed with the convening of the impeachment court unless we issue notices, Mr. President. And I made mention about it because the minority leader's motion yesterday was to convene and at the same time talk about the calendar of activities, Mr. President. And so I would just like to put that on record, Mr. President, because we are not going to discuss the agenda of the, if we convene the impeachment court. Is that the case, Mr.
The
President?
matters to be discussed requiring notice included the proposed schedule of the
Yes.
impeachment complaint, which needed the presence of the parties. However,
Because if we can do it by ourselves, for example, Mr. President, just approving our rules on impeachment, issuing summons, we don't need to issue notices. Is that correct, Mr. President?
However, there are certain matters that the court can do motu proprio,
Yes.
and it would perhaps include these matters, which is up for the consideration of the court once we convene. So again,
Mr. President, thank you.
Senator Bato is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just would like to counter the statement of Senator Joel Villanueva, Mr. President. You know, as the good Senate President mentioned yesterday, the Senate dismissed the impeachment complaint against Ombudsman Gutierrez after she resigned without convening the impeachment court. Therefore, the Senate, without convening into impeachment court, is not prohibited from dismissing the impeachment case, Mr. President. It's very clear. When you say iba nga kasi nag-resign. Pero still, the capacity or the legality of the action of the Senate not convened as an impeachment court was not questioned. So therefore, considering this case, I think we can do the same, Mr. President.
Mr. President, if I may, Mr. President, this is
With the
in reaction,
permission-
Mr.
With the
President.
permission of the gentlemen who have the floor, Chair will suspend for a few minutes because you will most likely simply engage in a debate because clearly you both have different positions on the matter. Session is suspended.